mongrel intruder. That tarnished, it seemeth.
Someone must extinguish thy flame. Welcome, honored guest, to the birthplace of our dynasty. I've given thee courtesy enough. I ask you forgive me, dearest Nanaya. Part of all that is golden.
I knew you'd come to stand before the Elden Ring, to become Elden Lord. What a sad state of affairs. I commend your spirit, but alas, none shall take the throne.
Elden Ring. Where do I even start? For me, this game changed absolutely everything. Before I played Elden Ring, my taste in games was extremely thin. FIFA, Fortnite, COD dominated my hours spent on the PS, with minimal story games in between. But then, Elden Ring came along. It came about to my storages, really just a mere joke. A laugh. The name Godric the Grafted for whatever reason amused me massively, and I was curious as to whom this person was. So when the game went on sale for £30, I had to buy it. And this moment here was the single greatest purchase I've ever made in my life to this day. Elden Ring went up to take up the next 2 years of my life. I was hooked, invested. But this was my first Souls game. I sucked. I built my character as a wretch and began my journey in Limgrave. That vacuum cleaner sound the area is scored on gives me so much nostalgia. I made my way up to the Stormhill Market, where I died, and died again, and again, and again. Hearing
Put these foolish ambitions to rest.
more than my own family for that week. I persisted and eventually beat this mammoth boss. I'd never taken on anything this difficult before. The journey continued into the Round Table Hold. The first time seeing this place is such a vibe, and exploring it was so cool, meeting all of the NPCs. I made my way through Stormvale, having much difficulty with navigation to the boss I desired, Godric the Grafted. I died a few times on him before seeking out the Sword of Night and Twin Flame and returning later on, to die over and over again, and ultimately quit the game. It wasn't my thing. I find it crazy to me now that Godric made me quit Elden Ring. He's easier than Margit. I dropped the game for 3 months, then it happened. I was sat in an optician's waiting for my eye test on a cold October afternoon, and I see an Elden Ring aesthetic video come up on my TikTok FYP. I was in awe, so I returned. Making a new character, I restarted my journey, clearing Margit with the ice hatchet with ease. Now I was back on the boss that made me quit, and I floored him. I couldn't believe he made me quit. But what followed was the sight worth waiting 3 months for. Going to Stormvale to Liurnia and seeing that for the first time has got to be one of the best feelings in gaming. It was stunning. The starry sky, the lake, the towering Raya Lucaria off in the middle. Singularly, one of the best sights, aesthetically, in gaming, surely. From there I explored the vast shores of Liurnia and finished Varay's questline, unlocking the notorious bird farm. I prepared for Renala using the Anspur rapier with a blood flame and the thrust ash of war. It was time for Raya Lucaria, one of the most visually stunning areas in this game. Exploring its vast passages and beautiful halls, I reached the Red Wolf. Taking me a few attempts with his quick successive attacks, he was bested. Then it was Renala. I couldn't believe my luck. When I did the first phase, how is this a Souls boss, I thought. But then, the second phase came out, and I thought. But then, the second phase came out, and I was greeted by easily the best boss stage in a Souls game for sure. This was stunning, and this boss fight was a fine fight, but it was cleared very easily. The next task was Star Squadron Radahn. I changed my build for this fight to the Moonveil Katana and prepared that bird. I'd heard many a rumour of the difficulty of this boss. I fought my way through the ghetto that is Caelid, and eventually made my way to Redmane Castle, and experienced what I can only describe as one of the most peak cutscenes I have seen, or so I had thought. The Radahn hype was real. I descended to his arena and saw his towering figure sniping me with his bow. The aura was real. I summoned my army and charged at him. Losing a few times in his first phase, I eventually cracked the fight, experiencing what I can only describe as an extinction level event, ending my run. After a few more tries, Radahn was vanquished, and I can only describe him as the most overhyped boss in the game. His cutscene afterward, however, did not disappoint. Both Dectus medallions were then gathered after many hours of exploration. It was time for the next moment of brilliance of this game. Seeing Outless Plateau for the first time really blessed your eyes. I searched around for the next boss for hours, finding nothing. Then I came face to face with Draconic Tree Sentinel. After many attempts, he was beaten. Then I made my way into Lanedale, the royal capital, another area that truly just blessed my eyes. There's a huge large mountain off to my left that I was really interested in going to, so I headed over there, and many hours of exploration, it was rewarded with more eye candy. Volcano Manor. I explored a while here, beating Godskin Noble, and headed back to the plateau, where I discovered Gangnam Style Village, where I beat the Apostle. How nice both of those bosses were to 1v1. Back into Lanedale, scaling Garnsax, I was horrified to be met by Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, wait what? Many deaths later, Godfrey Shade was beaten, and it was time for the second best cutscene in the game.
Tarnished. What is thy business with these thrones? Boldened by the flame of ambition.
Morgott was not as challenging as I hoped, and he was beaten using the rapier, the last boss that weapon would kill. I headed down into the crater left by the aftermath of beating Radahn to do Ranni Quest and claim Mimic Tear, a real staple of the rest of the playthrough. A little bit more exploration of Volcano Manor was done, and I had found Reikyard. This boss was goofy as hell, but his stage was amazing, and he was beaten very quickly with the Serpent's Spear. Now much more had been done. It was time for me to head to the mountain tops of the Giants, my favourite area aesthetically. I cried many times at Commander Niall before eventually beating him and getting the last rolled medallion I needed. I then claimed the Rivers of Blood Katana and faced a fire giant, getting clapped over and over again, many times. The fight finally beaten, and the Erdtree was set ablaze by Melina. Azula was the next area that claimed many runes. Facing the Godskin duo unfortunately meant a controller was lost in battle, but they were eventually beaten, and it was time. My favourite boss in the game. My favourite boss in any game I've played, as a matter of fact. Still to date. Beast Clergyman. I cleared this guy so easily, and then it happened. My jaw dropped. Malekith hops around, over and over, doing crazy stuff I've never seen before. I had him to one tap when I got hit through a wall. I wanted to cry. I nearly did one of the hardest bosses in this game first try. I kept dying repeatedly, but finally beat him in the end, returning to the lands between to my final test. Gideon Ofnir, who we killed with ease, but before anything else, I scaled down the Halig tree, losing many runes to enemies, eventually reaching my real test of the game, Malenia. Death after death after death, finally beat her, except, no. A second phase for this, no chance. Hours and days went by. Finally, the hardest boss in the game had been beaten. I headed to Godfrey, experiencing yet another mouth-watering cutscene before a tough fight that we eventually conquered. Horaloo was annoying, but he was cleared. Then, it was time for the final two bosses. And after the best part of nearly 2 months of not being able to take down Elden Beast and Radagon back to back, I finally beat Elden Ring. Watched Ranni ascend to godhood. I sat back in my chair satisfied, but I'd missed so much in the game. 7 New Game Pluses later, I'd seen and killed everything in the game. My journey with Elden Ring was over. Until Shadow of the Erdtree dropped. This was unreal. Every boss was next level, except Launch, Gaius and Radahn. I took many weeks to get to Radahn, led to fights with some insanely powerful bosses like Metyr, Bale and Midra. But the real standout of the whole DLC was Mesmer. His cutscenes, his score, it was all chef's kiss. And once all was said and done, I was finally done with Elden Ring. Like the video says, Elden Ring is a true work of art, and it's genius from Miyazaki. In the creation of this game, every detail, perfect. Except the shunning grounds, fuck you. Elden Ring's art doesn't come from its graphics, nor its gameplay. While they are both incredible features, its reward and its sense of mystery of the game, if you play it without a guide, it's a treat. You don't know what's coming for you, and it's so exciting. Getting stuck on a difficult boss can be frustrating, but they reward you with stunning cutscenes and areas, with also remembrance weapons. One boss, however, does not, and I think we all know which boss that is. But that goes without saying, the reward for taking on a tough foe is high, and you will be rewarded. Beating the fire giant rewards you one of the most beautiful cutscenes in the game. Beating Godric allows for one of the best scenery changes in gaming. It's the little things that Elden Ring accomplishes that rewards you to me. There's so much replayability, and on each playthrough, you always find brand new features you've not seen before. Elden Ring's score is unbelievable. Whether it's Mesmer's dramatic and action-filled theme, or the Elden Beast's tranquil and chill theme, the game captures the vibe and the aesthetic that you're in so well through its music. This game's cutscenes will make you feel speechless at times. Midra had me tweak out on my chair. I was so confused and hyped at the same time. And the same went for Radahn. Malekith had me borderline faint, but there is no cutscene from beginning to end that will disappoint you. For me, Elden Ring and its DLC is easily the best game I have played. And until Miyazaki's magnum opus comes out, I'm sure it will stay the same way. This is after Elden Ring came into my life. I have played many more games. Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 2, Persona 5, which I haven't finished, Lies of P, Hollow Knight. There's so many more. And to this day, this game still ranks above both all of those games I mentioned, and many more. Its only flaws are a few trash areas and one bad boss. So Elden Ring is an easy 9.5 out of 10, since nothing is truly perfect. But this game really is a work of art, and it is thoroughly deserved of the Game of the Year title that it holds. And the one day, I'd love to continue exploring the rich lore of the Lands Between that we've not got into. And I hope that day will one day come. But until that day comes, I am happy but also upset to say that my journey to become Elden Lord is over. And my journey with this game is finally done. Thank you for everything, Elden Ring.